be Kristine. I never know where to look on this thing. Do I look up there? Do I look over there? Oh, I guess I'm going to look right at you. Hi, welcome to another Wine Country Taxi. I am in Old Town Temecula today. Lots happening. And today, actually, I'm going to flip this around because I want to show you some of the construction that's happening. I am visiting with the most amazing Andy Doty at Old Town Blues Club. And we got some guys out here. Hi, guys. Remaking the sidewalk, fixing those steep stairs at the Old Town Blues Club into the Stone Church Brewery. Old Town Blues Club is gorgeous as usual, and Old Town Temecula is just absolutely spectacular. So wonderful to see people out and about. We're going to talk to Andy about live music, because we know this is one of the hip-hop happening places for live music. Hey, Aaron, thanks so much for joining us. Old Town Blues Club is one of my favorites for live music and the blues especially. Andy has the Old Town Blues Club, or the Old Town, I should say the Temecula Blues Festival coming up. So we're going to go inside. We're going to take a look at his amazing construction. We're going to find the man, the myth, the legend. Oh, look at that stage, Andy. That is just so beautiful. Hello. Fantastic. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good considering.
And that's what we are going to, well, I should do a quick little, considering we can't sit inside anymore on a 110-degree day.
Yeah.
We really want to sit inside. But I'm going to flip this puppy back around, and I'm going to, hey, there he
110
is.
degrees and 50% humidity.
Oh, that's the thing.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
monsoon clouds are fabulous, though,
Yeah,
aren't they?
yes.
I do think the monsoon clouds, and yesterday in Hemet.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my friends out at Tranquil Heart Winery, where we were a couple weeks ago. Downpour. It was gorgeous.
I wish it would here. I want a thunderstorm.
I want a thunder and
I grew up in the Midwest.
You did.
Yeah.
I did too.
Lightning.
Where were you?
Rockford, Illinois.
Rockford, Illinois. Yes.
Yeah.
Friends were in Schaumburg.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I was Michigan. What year in
The
Michigan?
Woodfield Mall.
Something
It
like.
did many years, the largest mall in the world.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. So we love our thunderstorms and lightning, and that is just so spectacular. But we have not seen those here in Southern California.
No.
We get earthquakes.
Yeah.
We get earthquakes, which are also fun. I do enjoy the earthquakes.
Yeah.
Do you like them?
I really hadn't thought about it.
Oh, I feel like I'm on a roller coaster ride,
Yeah.
not buckled in.
As long as they're,
Easy.
yeah, easy.
And nobody gets hurt, and nothing breaks.
Exactly.
Then I'm okay with it. Then I'm okay. But this stage is spectacular.
Thank you.
The Old
I'm
Town
really
Blues
proud of
Club,
it.
you should
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
What you built here, I mean, when did you start your construction on the new part?
I'll tell you, it was early March 2019.
Right?
Is that right? Yeah, 2019. March 2019. I took over the other suite, and as soon as the tenant was out of there, I had the sledgehammer in my hand.
You did too.
Yeah.
But what I loved about the intimacy, it was
Yeah.
very Detroit, it was very
Yeah.
Chicago. It was very small and
Yeah.
sweaty, and you were
Yeah.
sweating, and the
Yeah.
music was jamming, and the drinks were
Yeah.
amazing. All of that was fabulous.
Yeah.
But now you've created just an amazing space, not just for your patrons, the bands.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. You've introduced so many amazing bands
Well-
to the area.
Yeah, I like to think that, I think as far as I know, aside from places like the Belly Up or the Community Theater, we built this place for music. It's not a restaurant. See, most places that do live music, they're a restaurant first and entertainment is a secondary thing.
Right.
Here, our primary and almost really only objective is providing live music. So when I remodeled the place, I designed it and built it for musicians and for live music. You mentioned the sound system. It's it's not state of the art, but it's not top line, but it's pretty close.
Yeah.
We put thousands of dollars. It's a good QSC sound system. Probably
lighting?
the nicest sound system in town.
Yes, absolutely agree
The
with that.
lighting system, the acoustics here are great. It's spacious, and then the design, the look, it makes it look like a concert stage. And
Totally.
so, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was our driving concern, was to make it for live music.
And not everyone knows this, but a lot of people, musicians know, you're also a musician.
I am.
Have you always had this dream of owning a club?
It's funny you say that, because when I was, this is way too long of a story to tell the whole thing, but there was this abandoned supper club up on this top of this lake back in where I grew up in Illinois, and every winter it would close up, and we would my friends and I would go onto the property. We were illegally trespassing, of course, but we would find ourselves with our faces up against the windows looking into it. And the restaurant, I mean, it had a stage for a big band, you know, kind of like the era of Benny Goodman.
Yeah.
But all the tables were set, the glassware was there, the napkins were folded, and it was on this bluff above the lake. And I used to just sit there and dream about these ideas of running a supper club like that, kind of akin to Ricky Ricardo and Lucy with the what's it called, Copacabana or whatever you got.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Yeah, and so, but then that was just something that was there when I was younger, and I never really thought about too much until the opportunity came up to buy Front Street Union, and then the dream started resurfacing. And I really don't want to be in the food business, although I am now because I have to be. But I want to keep it simple. I want to keep it.
You didn't, though, because I have to say that that barbecue is amazing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
You say simple, but I mean, it is simple, but it is simply fabulous.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Bad to the bone, right?
Yeah, bad to the bone. They're great people. Yeah, really good at what they do.
And if you had to do a restaurant, what a great way to do it. They just pull up with their smoker out back, and it's perfect.
Yep.
You didn't have to build a kitchen.
You know, if you go across the country, too, this whole, it's very thematic, you know, blues and barbecue.
Totally.
It just goes together.
It just
you know,
goes
Kansas
together.
City, St. Louis, Memphis.
Yep. Temecula.
Yeah.
Because you've also, I kind of mentioned earlier that the Temecula Blues Festival, you are also the driving force behind that, and you had an amazing all-female blues festival here. Was it a year ago or 2 years ago when you did that?
Oh, it's going to be 2 years ago, November.
Yeah. So now the big elephant in the room.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't avoid it, and we need. Andy and I, we chit-chatted a little bit before. So I am a conspiracy theorist. I'm a rabbit hole diver. I just love all that stuff. I find it fascinating. But I was a journalist. I went to school for broadcast journalism. So I always want to hold people accountable.
Right.
I want to hold the government accountable. I want to ask the tough questions. I want to find out the reasons why. I don't accept just their blatant patent because it's good for everybody. I'm like, no, because this isn't good for everybody.
Right.
The small businesses it's crazy. It's not, but to allow you have a very cool head.
Right now.
I was going to say that because I remember in the beginning, I loved it that day that finally it was our first lockdown.
Yeah.
And we were all inside forever. And then all of a sudden, I see Lisa and Andy posting from Big Truth that they're going to be doing a concert or an event.
Yeah.
It was going to be an event at the Old Town Blues Club. I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. And then I couldn't come that night, but I'm going live on Facebook, and all my friends are down here, and they're like, this was the coolest thing.
Yeah.
Ever.
It was really, people are still talking about it. It was really, really one of the funnest days of my life. It was just, you know, it was quasi kind of spontaneous.
Yeah.
We kept it on the down low for a couple of days, and then made it sound like it was a last minute decision, but it was planned.
Good.
And
well, we had to christen that deck.
Yeah, well, that was part of it. But you know, at that point in time, it was May, and I think it was early May, and we were really feeling it. You know, we're not used to being shut in in America, and let alone Southern Californians, and being told what to do, and you know, we were hurting, and everybody needed a little bit of just something positive, and so we thought, you know, we knew we were kind of walking the line a little bit with breaking the rules. So we had the bar closed, did it in the patio, and I had no idea that was going to turn out to what it did, honestly.
No.
I knew there'd be a few people in the street.
Right.
We ended up with probably 300 or 400 people in the street.
Amazing.
And
it was just amazing.
Yeah, and thanks to local law enforcement for being cool about it and so forth.
Yeah, they were very cool.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, Andy, when's the next one? And you're like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think we want to push that on.
Well, you know, I had to talk to the city the next week. And
they did. They
said, off the record, way to go, Andy. On the record, we had a few complaints. You were breaking the rules. You know, you're creating a gathering. And I'm sure that if I did it again, there'd be more of the same. They wouldn't do too much about it, you know.
There's America.
Yeah.
There's America. We got no. It's getting crazy. I am a small business owner, but I'm not a brick and mortar.
Right.
Right. So I don't know. I'm so grateful, so blessed for my clients to still need me and my business to be okay. But my friends are musicians. And I mean, already with that AB bill that happened in January.
AB 5, yeah.
And people were like, okay, we have to hire you as an employee.
It's still a mess.
It's beyond crazy.
Yeah.
And people are like, I thought that got squashed. And I'm like, no,
it's not until September where they can actually take it up in legislation in California. So even though there's been some verbiage or some comments made by the author, Lorena Gonzalez, it's not on paper to pen yet, and it has to go through a vote. It has to go, procedural thing. I think it's September if I recall. So, all the musicians, we're still and venue owners, we're still kind of waiting to see what really comes down, to see if she's a person true to her word. Uber and Lyft are leaving California. Looks
totally. Which I'm sure the taxi companies are happy, but they need to revamp their program,
right?
And that I think is maybe where there are going to be some silver linings.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's funny you say that.
Say yes.
Well, there has been, and I tell you mentioned earlier about my mood.
Yes.
The reason I'm more calm today,
yes,
I have been, it's primarily it's been financial, and I will say that the silver lining out of this was, fortunately we do live in a country even with all of its issues going on right now, that we have a country that has the resources or the wealth to be able to support its citizens and help them out with, the $1,200 a month stimulus checks, the unemployment, and also these disaster loans through the SBA.
Yeah.
And they've really made the process very streamlined, very easy.
Good.
And so, up until a week ago, we were day to day and didn't know if we were going to make it or not. But so fortunately, we were able to qualify for one of these loans.
Beautiful.
And it looks like now we'll be able to, if this thing is over by the end of the year, we're probably going to be okay. Now, if it goes to 2021, that becomes a whole other new situation.
And we don't know if the government changes. We don't know.
We don't know what's going to happen.
We have no idea. That's, I think, in my
the uncertainty,
mind, the uncertainty, I think, is what a lot of people are. That's where the anxiety comes in.
Sure.
It's just the uncertainty and especially within your business of service, your bartenders and your staff.
Yeah.
How are they doing?
Well, they don't like the back and forth any more than anybody else does. 2 weeks they're on, then they're off, then they're working again. And so it's been tough on everybody. Now that we're open as a restaurant in an outdoor space, it looks like this is going to be a model that the health department, the state can live with until the weather changes. I mean, here in Temecula,
the rain.
Well, the rain and just a cool temperature. I mean, Southern Cal, where we are, we're probably okay until November.
See,
November,
I love going out in December.
Yeah.
I want to be outside. Now remember, older women,
yeah,
we like the cool.
Yeah.
We like being outside at night because we can put our warm jackets on and our boots and our jeans, and we can go outside and it's cool.
Yeah.
And we don't have our little mini. If we have a mini siesta, it's okay.
Well, you think about Northern California, though, the weather's a little different, and so I think in the next 60 days that somewhere we're going to have to either get approved to go back indoors, with restaurants and stuff,
or you just have to get more heaters.
Well, I mean, but then even then, some of these, outdoor configurations, like how they push in the street now, like in 1909, you really can't put heaters out there. There's a certain point where you got to stop investing in that kind of stuff because there isn't a return on it. I mean, look out there in the street to what extent some of these businesses are spending their money, and what do they do with all that stuff once they say, okay, it's okay to go back indoors, and I'm
going to turn this just a little bit. But I like it when you kind of look at the camera.
Oh, okay, camera.
I like that.
To look at you, okay.
Because so then I go back over here so that we get your handsome face.
Yeah,
but you're right. You're right. It is. We do have to deal with the weather, and we won't know if we get to come back inside. Everything, all of that, causes just.
Well, anxiety. Then you have the election, everything else. I mean, it's. But just back on that note. As of, for what it's worth, as of yesterday, the Riverside County did submit to the state its new plan, and what they're submitting is that the first week of September, it's like the first day after Labor Day weekend, is that restaurants have the ability to move back indoors.
Beautiful.
And then the first week of October, I think it's October 6th, is where bars can open again. There is no direct mention of live music, though, that's the caveat. I think it's intentionally not mentioned, but...
Why is San Diego? Why is Orange County?
Better
All
numbers.
My friends are better numbers as far as less COVID.
Yeah, right.
Less COVID numbers. But I think we've already touched on this, and a lot of people are saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Are these numbers us? I mean, we know they're bringing them in from other areas, and everybody's like, how do you know that, Kristine? I'm like, well, just go look. The numbers are there. They're not Riverside County residents.
Yeah.
So how are we being held?
Right.
That's not... It just... doesn't make sense.
Well,
It
no,
just
there's a lot of us that
doesn't
feel
make
that, well, frankly, myself, I wish, Temecula was part of San Diego County.
I agree.
And
we're
we feel
right there.
we have more of a kinship to San Diego, I think, than Riverside
agree.
County. But
I agree.
you look at Southwest Riverside County by itself, it's 900 square feet, which is 3 times that of New York City. And Southwest Riverside County, so you take Elsinore over at Diamond Valley Lake down to Temecula, that's 900 square miles.
Right.
3 times that of New York City, as I said earlier.
Wow.
And
I never think about
and our numbers are some of the best in the country.
Correct.
But then you take all of Riverside County, which is 7,200 square miles, and right now, unfortunately, due to a rise in cases in Riverside City, Moreno Valley, and the Coachella Valley, we're now the worst in the state. We're worse than LA. Our percentages, as how they're measuring them.
But again,
Yeah.
it's not because
Yeah.
of us.
Yeah.
I mean, the wineries are open. We can go.
Yeah.
And the numbers haven't gone up.
Yeah.
It's hotter than all get out, so
Yeah.
it's not doing what, remember?
Yeah.
It was supposed to just miraculously disappear. But, okay, all of that aside,
Well, one of the interesting
99% recovery rate.
Yeah. Well, one of the numbers I saw was interesting is that that nationwide, the largest age group that's now getting the virus is 20 to 40 years old.
Yes, because we're going out.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
I'm on the upper end of that.
Yeah, but
45.
they go out differently. They go out just in groups, and there's been a lot of the protest nationwide across the country, which has to account for some of the uptick. It has to.
Has to,
It'd be
even
silly
though
to
they're
not.
saying it.
Yeah,
Right.
it'd be silly and ludicrous to not think that it hasn't affected the numbers, especially in that demographic. So I find it interesting that, but so where we live, my point to that is where we live, it tends to be a little older age group.
True.
And maybe I think in Riverside and those other places, that demographic, that 20 to 40 number is more relative there than is here, if that makes sense.
Yes, that makes complete
Yeah.
sense. And everyone I know is very cautious.
Yeah.
They're very cautious. They do wear their masks. They do stay social distancing. We do testing. I mean, we have to do the testing. Like you said, we have to know we have to get a handle around it, right? So we
Right.
do have to do the testing. And everybody always makes fun of it. Well, you're doing more testing, so of course the numbers are going to go up. Well, yes, but then we actually can get a better
Sure.
handle around it. And when we do more testing, it actually keeps everybody a little bit calmer.
Sure.
And when you do get tested, you're like, no, but then you have to test every day. Do we have to?
I think the biggest, for me personally, and I think I talk to a lot of people through the
Yes.
club, and the biggest frustration is that most people are willing to do what it takes, but it has to be all in or nothing, and that's never been the case. Since, as we talked about earlier, since March, we've never truly shut down here. And then when we tried the second shutdown, that's when all the protest came up.
Correct.
And so it's like, wait a minute here, we're trying to get a handle on this thing, and you can't have businesses shut down, but people marching in the streets at the same time. Protesting is fine. It's a right. It's the First Amendment's,
It's what makes
freedom
our
of
country
speech.
so great.
Just wait another month or two till we're in the clear and protest all you want. It doesn't mean you can't. No one's trying to oppress your speech.
Right.
Just wait till it's better for the the overall greater good of the public health and safety. Then do it. Protest all you want. We don't care. Just don't damage anything.
But you're coming from an intelligent, mentally healthy, obviously
Rational.
concerned and rational point of view.
Yeah.
Those that are out there doing that are not.
Yeah.
So why don't we protest against them?
Yeah.
And then you see some people do try to protest correctly, and even that is over. It's just, I hope, in my thinking and in my thoughts, that we, people who do think like you, other business owners, people who want the best for everyone, that our voices are heard too.
Yeah.
That we can actually stand up and go, okay, wait a minute, enough of
Right.
this. Somebody's got to. We have to, right? Stand up and say, enough of this. And I think it's going to be guys like you, musicians, the artists, the creative world is always the one where the movements come from for the positivity, the love, we've got to think about this in a better way. We have to think about this in a way that's going to benefit all of mankind. I truly believe it comes from the creative world, the artist world, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I believe to a certain extent that it does. Unfortunately, it seems like now with COVID, it's also COVID's now become political. I mean, it's like how you feel about COVID almost depends where you align politically, and that's sad. And
Yes.
And so, you have a lot of people on both sides of it, and everybody has their own opinions, of course, and everyone's scared. That's the key. Back to you said earlier, the anxiety, everyone's scared because there's still this big unknown. And I hope to God this doesn't come out the wrong way. But we've been into this 6 months now, and we have never really done true shutdown. So it's almost like for me to really find out if we can deal with this as a society is we almost need for more people to get the COVID and to survive it. It's a key. And so we can now, in fact, up until a few weeks ago, I've only known one person that's gotten the virus. And he was a 74-year-old man in good health, and he was a customer here, but he did not get it here. He got it on his trip back east and came back. But we were all concerned for him, and he had a really, really rough 3 days. He said he couldn't breathe, he couldn't talk, he had no energy, he had headaches. But after 3 days, every day he got better, and after 14 days, he was back to normal. And so my point is, okay, well, there's a positive story.
Totally.
Someone got it that didn't have an existing condition and survived it. So I'm thinking, if more people get it, and then also we find out that it really isn't as deadly as we feared it might be, then we can all probably relax and feel better about it. And until that happens,
we're already seeing that.
Well, yeah,
99% survival rate, and the numbers, you can win the lottery.
Because it seems now the one big answer he's waiting for is this vaccine. Well, I would tell you what, I'm not the first one to stand in line for it. I'm sorry.
Me neither.
I'm just not really going to be that person.
I'm not a vaccine person anyway.
Yeah, I have nothing. I just want to have to be proven first a little bit. I'm not willing to be that guinea pig. But then again, I'm also wondering. My point really is the vaccine really necessary? That's what I'm trying to find out. We need to find out, can we live with this virus? We've lived through the others. We lived through H1N1. We lived through SARS, through MERS, through Hong Kong flu. There was damage done, of course, but sometimes isn't that just nature's way of...
Isn't it?
I don't know, just
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. It's okay. And that's the thing. I think we have to have more conversations like this. Because we sit... If we're isolated and if we do what we're supposed to do and we isolate, we get these thoughts in our head, and unless you have a good support system, or unless you have other people, not just your own core, but other people that you don't always talk to, but you get their thoughts, because we have to be able to say, but the numbers, San Diego and Orange County can have live music. All of my friends are playing in Orange County and San Diego. Why can't Riverside County? Why can't we? What is it if a band is playing there and you've got a 10-foot dance floor and nobody's sitting around the dance floor? I thought it was a 6-foot social distance. Why? What is... Okay, yes, so we might not be able to dance. Okay, but we can still sit at our tables, socially distanced, listening.
Yeah. Well, it's because human nature.
We want to dance.
Well, no, that's not. It's not that.
We want to talk.
There will be those that abide by the rules and take the right steps, and there are those who don't. And it's. You remember the movie Jurassic Park?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember Jeff Goldblum's character in the movie?
Yes.
Remember what his role was?
Yeah.
He was hired by the insurance company to go in and do an assessment to decide whether it was really worth the risk to insure this. And basically, he already went in with the attitude of it wasn't going to be. And it wasn't because of the dinosaurs. It was because of the human involvement. And remember the guy who played Newman from Science? Remember his character?
Oh yeah, he stole the egg.
He stole the egg, and the unpredictability of what humans will do in a given situation, especially when all of a sudden things become desperate. And so that's the problem with when and I do understand the issue with bars being closed because once people are drinking and the close proximity and the dancing and the hooking up and everything else, it does kind of bode for that kind of environment. I understand that, but let's not just pick one industry. Let's make it across the board, because there's other places where it's everybody do the right thing, shut down for 3 weeks, and let's see if we can handle this thing. If we don't do it, then all of a sudden we're until there's a vaccine, there's nothing we can do. Yeah.
Do you truly believe, because you've said it now a couple times, we should have, Sweden did not shut down at all. They dealt with it a little bit worse, and their economy still
Right.
tanked because people were afraid.
Yeah.
Right? And then you do have a few countries where they just shut it down.
Yep.
And they stayed at home and
Yep.
nothing was open. You were even saying, the necessary, even the building, we didn't stop building here in
No, we
Riverside
didn't stop any
County.
construction. All the large department stores.
Right.
The Home Depots,
The Home Depot and
the
Walmart,
government
yes.
workers.
Right.
Okay, let me put this. Here's the worst example
Yeah.
of it, and I know why it happened. Is during the initial shutdown, when Old Town was literally a ghost town back in March and April, every single day I'd be here doing work. I would see the Riverside Transit Authority buses going through town every single day, all day long, without a single passenger on it. But my point was this: is that we're being told to stay home,
Right, why would
but yet
they still
here's
be
a
running?
county, a government, basically,
Huh.
entity driving through Old Town saying, where do you want to go today in this German-infested bus?
Right?
No, that's exactly. And my point
again,
was, but
no sense.
well, no, but what the argument was then was that, well, then there are people who rely on those buses to get their groceries. And well, wait a minute, if you remember back in that day, all the grocery stores were offering free delivery,
Correct.
free delivery
Correct.
of your RXs.
Right.
And if your job was essential, you probably had a car.
Correct.
And so what? Everybody's asking me to make sacrifices, but yet we have county buses going throughout town, and it had to do with the fact that they have, because there's union contracts.
Yes.
It's the same thing with the post office, which is a whole other story right now, is that, that's a whole other issue,
Right,
And
right.
why do we need mail on Saturday and Sunday?
Right.
Nobody does. It's a losing company, it's losing money.
Again.
We don't want to go there.
We could. I love conversations
Yeah.
like this because I really do.
Yeah.
I think we have to have more, and we have to feel like it's okay. It's okay to have opposing opinions of our government. It's okay to have opposing opinions of how things are run.
Right.
Because nothing will get better if we just allow whoever to do whatever. And I think that's what a lot of us realized with this is it's come this whole wave
Yeah.
of now stay in your home, and Americans we're ones to be wanting to get out to talk.
Yeah, right
to
now
be-
it seems to be whoever talks the loudest gets to be heard.
And
that's not the way it should be.
No, we need to, but if we have a voice and if more people are talking,
Yeah.
then I think that's important. But did you see in Wuhan, China,
Yeah.
last weekend, they had,
At the beach there? No,
it wasn't
that
a beach, it was
the
an inside water park.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a humongous
Oh, yeah.
festival concert, and
Yeah.
they had, I'm going to say, well, they said half the amount of people were invited, were allowed in, but at least 60,000 people
Yeah.
were there.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
where does it end?
yeah.
Okay, so you were doing these fabulous live feeds. We're sitting right underneath where
Uh-huh.
and you would have the bands here, and you would do the live feeds, and people were outside, and that was amazing. What's happening with that?
Well, when we first closed, we did a couple of them, and people were so. At that time, too, we weren't sure the club was going to make it. So
Yeah.
the first two shows we did, actually, the people contributed substantially, and when the bands made good money.
Good.
And then we reopened again, and then we got shut down again. We started doing some live feeds, and the bands weren't getting any money. And
Do you think it was because it was a little diluted? Because a lot of bands were going online and doing
yes,
it that way.
absolutely. That's one absolute one point. It was diluted. Let me back up. The first two shows that we did live streaming were actually live streaming from this stage.
Yeah.
We brought them in here and did it.
Yeah.
And then we got to the point recently where people were doing it from their location,
Yeah.
and because we couldn't do it here anymore legally. And so they were doing it from their homes or their rehearsal garage or whatever. So it was a little less professional in that regard. But I think it's saturated, number one, because everybody's doing it. And number two, if you really think about it, if you're sitting at home with your friends, you can go onto YouTube and click on the greatest concert of ever history, any second, and get high quality video, audio. And so,
Don't give anybody ideas.
well,
Andy.
it's a reality,
Yeah,
of
no.
what it is. And so, I mean, so we're still doing this weekend. We're actually doing one this Sunday. We're doing a Lifetime Rockers doing their Steely Dan tribute
Yes.
this Sunday, and that's going to be a great show. So we're going to be very selective if we do any more live streaming. But right now, we're just not really going to be doing any.
So Sunday, it's going to start at what time?
I think it's 2:30.
And they're going to be elsewhere?
Yes.
And then you're going to stream it live on your
The Old
Facebook
Town
page.
Old Town Blues Club Facebook page.
Are you going to have it up here? Are you
On
going
the
to have
TV's
it
outside.
Outside,
Yeah,
and
on
you're
the
going to have
patio.
your full patio wide open.
Yeah, the idea is you can come and
Yeah.
have dinner and still get a virtual live show.
Cool.
At the
And
same
it's
time.
Lifetime Rocker.
It's
Those guys
Lifetime
are great.
Rocker. Yeah, and Justina
wonderful.
D'Angelo, and it's amazing.
Right.
And they have a saxophone player this time too. It's going to be
Very cool.
outstanding.
Well, let's go show them where the patio is.
Sure, come on
Let's
out.
go. Yeah, let's go see the patio. I don't know how many people have been down to Old Town. All of the new. I hope that still works.
Let's do this first, if you don't mind, Kristine.
Kelly, whoop! I should probably take that.
Oh yeah, that would help.
Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm going to flip it around.
Yeah. So let's just start here. Here's put the camera here and look at
Okay.
the line on the floor.
Oh, the demarcation
That's it.
spot.
Okay, right. That
Old
was-
Town Blues Club.
so
New
this
Town
was-
Blues Club.
Yeah, Lucky Stone. So this was the old Lucky Stone. Right over the bar was over there. That wall was gone. There was a little pub area back there. And then that door right there, the main door, was a single door.
Yes,
And
it
then
was.
and then to
Like
the
that.
kind of north to us was the old time photography place.
Mm-hmm,
And then when the current landlord, which is the owners of 1909,
Mm-hmm.
bought the place from the owners from Rosa, I got the opportunity to lease the space next door. So March 2019,
Mm-hmm.
like I said earlier, we got the sledgehammers out and went to town and did the demolition, and that's when the vision started to grow for what is now the Old Town Blues Club.
Yeah.
And fortunately for myself, I have very forward-thinking landlords, and I can't take credit for the patio. That's something they paid for. I pay for it
Nice.
every month, but they actually built it, and
Yeah.
and they didn't have to do that. So basically, inside here, we have about 1,800 square feet, more or less. That patio is almost the exact same square footage. It's about
Whoa.
another 1,700 square feet. So I've literally doubled my footprint, on
Beautiful.
what is basically one of the premier corners
Totally.
in Old Town on Front and Fourth. So let's
Totally.
go outside here.
Hey, Kelly. Grace Kelly, I should say Grace. I always want to call her Kelly Grace. Grace Kelly, have you ever heard her sing?
Grace Kelly.
Yes. Grace Kelly. Grace, let us know what band you're in now. She was with Brad in Garage Sale Monsters for
Okay.
a while, then she went out on her own. But we're back outside.
Yeah.
And take us on a little tour.
Well, so here's the main entry gate, which
Yeah.
you're looking at right now. And this patio was here originally with the Front Street Union and Lucky Stonehouse Pub, and it went all the way to basically to the door here. And then this was all the patio was redone, all new decking. We got new shades. We got more television sets. We got a misting system. But this part here,
Gotta like the misting
we
system.
come to the corner of Fourth and Front.
Right.
So all of this is brand new. So
Are you
this
guys
is-
ready for this? Look at
yeah,
this.
so this is
Ready?
our 800 square feet of premier outdoor patio space on the corner of Fourth and Front. So like it's kind of like Titanic. So I stand here and I go, I'm on top of the world.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
It is so cool. I love what everyone's doing in Old Town.
And then we put a brand new awning, a retractable awning system up here.
Oh, wow.
So this is 30 feet wide, 12 foot deep, so it'll retract entirely over the railing here on the Fourth Street. So
That's nice for
Yep.
the heat.
Yep,
Because,
exactly.
Yeah. But I love, who was your artist here? Who did all this?
Well, it's a great friend of mine named Chris Munson, and he also did a lot of the artwork inside the club too.
Yeah.
Everything is my concept, so this was my concept. I told him what I wanted to do. I wanted the art to fit into the squares and the windows, and I gave him some imagery to work with, and then he took it, came up with this, and we had these in the windows while we were under construction, so kind of like teased people a little bit that what was coming.
But I love that you included local.
Oh yeah, Casey Hensley, yeah.
And then, we've also got our
B.B.
classics.
King and
Yeah.
Ella Fitzgerald, Ray Charles.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think over here there's one more local, I think.
Yeah.
No, that was it. Casey was the only local we put in there.
Nice.
Billie Holiday,
Yeah.
Dr. John, Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Is that is that Robert Johnson?
I think it's supposed to be somebody
Somebody
that looks
similar.
like him. Open up Django Reinhardt, upper left-hand corner. Yeah.
When did your love of blues start?
Really, sort of back in the 80s, I think it was.
Really?
And it was really only by virtue of going into blues clubs in downtown Denver.
Oh.
And I was never really a blues fanatic. I appreciated it, and I had never bought a blues CD in my life. But the experience of live blues, to me, that's what it's all about. Yeah, in a club venue, it's hard to get better than a really good live blues experience. And
True
that's
that.
what it was about. It's about the vibe and experience. And to this day, I don't really sit at home all
Right.
the time and listen to blues all day
Right.
long. I listen
True.
to all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But the live experience, and that's what I was trying to bring to Temecula. Kind of, in a sense, brought the blues to the burbs.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. Well, I can't thank you enough. We've been trying to.
For about a year now.
Yeah, at least we had some fun ideas of how we were going to do a wine country taxi with Andy and bring in all your live music. But life has changed for all of us.
Yeah.
But it's not going to stay this way.
No, I don't think so. Like I said earlier, if in fact we're able to open up early October, I'm assuming that live music will be a part of that. So
Good.
we're talking another 6 weeks. So if we made it this far, we can make it that far.
We can. You know what? We can. We just
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
Because what else are we going to do? Curl up in
Exactly.
a ball in the corner and cry? We're not. We're
Not gonna happen.
Americans.
That's right.
We're Americans.
Yeah.
And we know what it takes. It's a lot of grit. It's a lot of hard work. You have done an amazing job with this, even under the conditions that you experienced, because it was scary.
It's a triangle. What I mean is, it's yeah. I have this place, but I can't do it without the bands and the musicians, and we can't do it without the fans. We all need each other. There's no way this works any other way. And so I have, through the course of owning this club, have met the most wonderful people, made the best friends, you included.
Oh, I appreciate that.
And met some amazing musicians, and,
Yes.
and myself, by virtue of that, have become a better musician because I'm playing with others and seeing others and inspired by others. And so I like to think this place as a source of inspiration. And this is one of those places, too, that when all this nonsense is done, the COVID's done, the election's done, I don't want any politics spoken here. This is the one place this is the place that bonds us.
Yes.
This is the place that bonds us. Put everything else aside. You could be Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever, but you can still be a lover of music.
Yes.
And that's the goal here. Is
Yes.
This is the place you come. This is therapy. This is where you get away from all the other bullshit.
I love it. When are you open?
Open Fridays and Saturdays from 6 to 11, and Sundays 1 to 6. Outdoor patio, 21 and over only still.
But you have phenomenal food.
Phenomenal barbecue.
Bad to the bone.
Spare
Bad to the
ribs, they'll fall off the bone. Pulled pork, tri-tip. The sides are made best mac and cheese, best baked beans.
Absolutely,
anywhere.
hands down.
And then Diary, she's one of the chefs. Every Sunday she makes a different homemade southern dessert.
Really?
And I'm telling you, every one of them. Last week was strawberry banana pudding.
Oh.
Week before that was brownie chocolate raspberry cheesecake.
Oh.
So Sunday afternoons.
Let's go this way.
Yeah.
We're going to walk back this way, show you the amazing patio, and hope to see everybody on Sunday.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But I love Fridays and Saturdays too. Old Town is bustling. I came down here
busy.
yesterday for lunch, and it was packed. It was packed.
Well, you think about it,
Difficult
there's
to
not
find
much else to
parking.
do. You can't go to the movies. You can't go bowling.
No.
You can't go to a bar.
Yeah.
So eating out is one of the few pleasures we can have in life still. But don't forget, also one thing I want to mention too is we are still trying to maintain the best vibe we possibly can here.
Okay.
So when we do open for barbecue, we are streaming out to our televisions on the patio live blues concerts, pre-recorded stuff. We'll
Very
put on
cool.
a feature artist, won't name any names.
Very cool.
Yeah, but we'll put on, Joe Bonamassa,
Ah,
B.B. King, or
nice.
Stevie Ray Vaughan, or something
Okay.
like that. But this coming Sunday, it's Lifetime Rocker doing a Steely Dan tribute. It's going to be amazing.
I'm excited. Do we have to get tickets?
Nope.
You don't, because
Nope.
there was a period of time where we had to have reservations.
Yeah, that's when we were actually doing shows live, though.
Gotcha.
For the live streaming, it's all in donations, and please, if you're watching it,
Yeah.
enjoy it, contribute to the band. Yeah, they need it.
Thank you, Andy.
My pleasure, Kristine. Thank you
Andy
so much.
Doty from Old Town Blues Club in Old Town Temecula. What did you say? Bringing the blues to the burbs.
Blues to the birds.
Thanks so much for watching. We shall see you next Wines Day when, I've got J. Lawton Turner on from Florida.
Oh, nice.
Next Wines Day, so that's going to be fun. Have a fabulous rest of your Wines Day, everybody.
Thanks.
Thanks again,
Kristine.
Andy.